I want to do a podcast about films.
I'm not stopping you.
No, with you, you fool.
Oh, so you mean you want us to do a podcast about films?
Yes.
Well, then why didn't you say that?
I did. I am.
Well, you can't say films, you just say movies. It's a more broadly recognised term.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. Are you interested?
Well, we can't just talk about films we like. That'd be boring.
Hello and welcome to Movie the Needle. My name's Simon. I'm joined by my good friend Carl. We are mixing things up and we'll be haphazardly dissecting a movie that we believe has been criminally underrated by critics, and we will see whether we can movie the needle of opinion. So this week we are discussing a 1991 fairytale swashbuckling adventure from Steven Spielberg, starring Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman, about a boy who grew up and became an awful father, and when an old foe kidnaps his children, he must return to Neverland to reclaim his youthful spirit and said offspring. Grooming and fairy kissing ensues. It's Hook!
I'll give you the grooming and the fairy thing, but we are going to have to talk about the awful father thing when we get into it.
You don't think he's an awful father?
No, I think his son's a dickhead.
Fair enough. Well, there we go. We'll get into it. Oh, good stuff. You'll be pleased to know, Carl. Mm-hmm. Got ourselves a game.
Love a game.
Right.
I am pleased to know.
It came about, I was struggling a little bit. And it came about, I was talking yesterday, had a little meeting, and someone said, "Oh, what are you doing this week in the podcast?" And I said, "Oh, Hook." I was like, "Oh, I didn't." I was like, "Well, it was panned by critics." Panned! I was like, "There's something there." Yeah. Panned or hooked. So now we've got, were critics panned or hooked? Are people, is it panned, or were they hooked into it?
Yeah. Was it panned? Okay, right, okay.
So you got that to look forward to.
Yeah, you're right, good.
Yes. You said you have plenty of chit-chat today,
Carl.
Carl.
I mean, the first thing I think we should start off is your bloody dog. Again. Right.
I can only apologise.
Yeah, caught you on the school run again, haven't I? Shoveling mountains of it into your little
where
bag.
It comes from.
Well, this is what I was going to say. You have got to figure out how to monetize this, because that lad is an absolute machine.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't put on any weight. I think that's why. It's just literally just straight in and out.
Incredible.
Oh, I'd just like some consistency, please.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, very good. But
anyway, it's Oscar season, Carl.
Yeah.
And the Oscar noms are all out there now. And friend of the pod, Will, sent me a little image.
Oh, yeah. This is some actual data, isn't it?
A bit of actual data, yeah.
Don't shoot your load now. We need to save this for the data session, surely.
But this is the Best Picture nominees by Letterboxd rating and number of awards that they had, right? So right at the top in terms of Letterboxd rating is Dune Part 2. So highest rating as of time of this image being created at 4.42.
So this is number of noms they've received. Right?
Number of noms, yes. Yeah. It's 4.2 rating, and they had 5 awards for that one.
5 noms.
5 noms, yep, sorry. I'll just keep saying it wrong. You just keep correcting me, that's fine. They've got, say, like the Nickel Boys is like third on the list, only 3 noms, as is I'm Still Here. Then you get down to The Brutalist, which is an average rating of just over 4, and that's got the most alongside Wicked, which is a bit lower at 3.93. Anora's kind of in the middle there. But then we go all the way down to the bottom. Mm-hmm. The one that's got the most noms out of all of them is the lowest rated at 2.56, which is low. That is a low-rated film on Letterboxd.
To me, I've seen it.
You have seen it. And it's Amelia Perez, which I've yet to see. I'm not looking forward to watching it, but maybe I'll like it.
You love it, mate. It's a musical.
Yeah. And A Complete Unknown, which we may have just recorded an episode about, which will be either already out or out soon, depending on when you are listening to this and when it's released.
To do with it, yeah.
So, yeah, I thought interesting how out of whack the number of nominations is with the general opinion. I don't know what the critics' opinion of Amelia Perez is, though. I've not looked at what the average ratings on that is.
No, I've read some very positive reviews from Letterboxd users, as I do tend to seek them out. But I don't know about critics.
Well, there's obviously some very low ones as well.
Yes, there is. I can't wait for you to watch that, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, good stuff.
Although, I won't say anything more at this juncture.
71, it's critic rating at the minute.
Too high.
Okay.
Yeah. I was listening back to the Weddings
You
podcast.
shouldn't do that.
For Weddings and a Funeral podcast.
Were you doing it on Spotify or something like that, so we at least get the numbers?
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, you've got to do it for the numbers. And, it went a bit wrong.
What went a bit wrong?
Because I was listening to it on speakerphone.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember what I said, but it was my turn to speak.
Yep.
And I said a naughty word. I said a swear word.
Uh-huh.
Right at the point when my eldest walked into the room and said, "Daddy, I didn't think you sweared."
And you said,
"What
"It's
a letdown that is! 10 years old, sweared."
Yes, I know, right?
What the hell?
Oh, you need to teach that kid a lesson.
Yeah. So absolutely gutted at that. That she sweared. Oof. 10 years old, for God's sake.
That's it. Off to military school for her.
Yeah, at least.
It's the only way she'll learn.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
bless
watched
her.
any films? You watched any films this week?
I have seen A Complete Unknown.
Yes. No, of course. As we've already said, we've been at the cinema to see that. We've done a little
have.
episode on it, but I watched that, and I found a great review on Letterboxd for that from a guy called Frankie_M_, and his review was Bob Dylan, more like Bob Dickhead, which I thought was very good. Got to the heart of it.
There are quite. Letterboxd is good for if you just want a witty one-line review. There are some of them not so witty.
Yeah, but this one actually talks about the film.
As well. Okay, that's not just
No,
it. Oh, that's it. Right, it sums it up.
That's
it.
what it was, yeah.
Just on A Complete Unknown, when we were walking back from the cinema, so I sort of dropped you off as you wandered off to your house, and I carried on, put my headphones on to try and ignore the outer world. Didn't work.
Stop the voices in your head.
Stop the voices. Did I heard a little voice in my head. It was some guy shouting. I was like, oh, just ignore that. Just keep walking on. Shouted again. Oh no, I can probably ignore that one more time. Shouts again as he's getting closer. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I heard that too.
Put the headphones down.
Was that just as
you
you
weren't
left
far. Yeah, you weren't far off having left me. And this guy coked off his tits. I can only assume.
Yeah.
However, I might be being harsh on him because what he then went to say is this Woodfield Road up here? I was like, yes, it's just this next one, right? And then he said, oh, my wife's just hit me with an iron.
Jesus.
And he said, look at my fucking face. And yeah, basically like Home Alone.
I was going to say, is this Marv from Home Alone?
It's basically like Marv from Home Alone with just like the whole left side of his face just messed up.
So like
with an iron.
A hot iron.
I would assume not hot, but heavy
Jesus Christ.
thing that he's been hit with it. I was like, oh, great. And then he continued to obviously walk with me, telling me all about how disgraceful it was that he got assaulted with an iron when she doesn't even iron his clothes. I was like, yeah, good one. And then he said it again. Yeah, in it. And then he walked on a bit, and then he starts shadow boxing. And I'm just like, oh no. Can I was heading this way. How can I just tactfully
I've just remembered I'm walking in completely the wrong direction.
So I just sort of slowed as he went ahead. And he said, are you from America? No, I'm not.
Just down south.
No, just down south. He goes, oh yeah, down south. And then starts shadow boxing again. And I was like, and I'm really walking slowly now as he's slowly getting away. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, why isn't Carl here? This would have been much better if there was someone else here that I could have to protect me.
Oh dear.
But anyway, so that was a complete unknown.
Yeah, well, yes, that was a bloody hell.
I've also seen The Substance.
I've seen The Substance.
So this might be one we'll talk about later. No, probably not. But I definitely didn't find it boring, whereas I think you maybe did find it a bit boring.
The first two acts are way too slow, yeah.
So I don't think I was fully quite prepared for how much body horror was coming.
When it absolutely jumps the shark.
Yes, it goes a bit mental. I did kind of watch quite a lot of it, kind of half grinning, half grimacing sort of simultaneously.
I mean, honestly, My problem isn't with the third act. It's silly. It's not for me. But if people like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
My problem is people insisting that that film had done enough work in the first 2 acts to be making any sort of serious point.
What? Like, so it's obviously got a very overt and unsubtle message.
Yeah, but it's not good at making it.
No, so I mean, it's not like it's a commentary on it. It literally says it over and over again, like what the message is.
Yeah, and the fucking Dennis Quaid's character is called Harvey.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Okay. It doesn't do anything with any of these people. It's basically
he's having a great time though, isn't he?
It's like you're going, have you seen the news? Oh yeah. Remember that? Yeah. Are you going to tell us anything about that? No. Just checking you'd seen the news.
Quaid is having a wonderful time though.
Yeah, sure. He's not actually in it loads.
I know, but like he looks like he's like, I get paid to do this. This that sounds great. Yeah. But yeah, is it good? I'm not so sure if it's actually good. But I think I did kind of enjoy it in a weird way. It's a change of pace to what I usually watch. So it's
those first 2 acts. It's too slow. It breaks its own rules. She's a dickhead. Which again undermines
both of them.
The point that she's trying to make, that she's sort of the oppressed one there. And then it goes completely off the rails, which if that's your thing, that's fine. I'm just not having it that this is...
It's very
I think I put in my review, I think you don't just get to throw shit at a screen and then claim you meant it.
Yeah.
When people come together, oh my God, I love the critique it's making. I said, no. And by the way, it doesn't surprise me that it's been nominated for an Oscar whatsoever.
Does it not?
Because it's a version of Hollywood they can look at and go, oh my God, it's like us, and we're definitely not really like this. So we can laugh at it and we can award it. And
it's a satire.
Yeah.
Well, I was a bit surprised that it did get quite as much.
They love anything about themselves, don't they?
I suppose that makes sense. Weirdly, though, the bit that surprised me most, I found all of the lycra-clad thrusting quite tiresome.
Yeah, I read a really good review, like an actual good review that makes sense, taking it apart.
Yeah.
And then they were like, after the 4th Eric Pride's reference, I was just really, really bored of this film.
Yeah, I was just like, am I meant to be, like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But there was a lot of, like, shots in it as well. I think I said try hard, and, we joke about how we don't know what we're talking about.
We don't joke, Carl. That's true.
Yeah, it's not. Yes, let's get that. Yeah, let's get that. It's not a joke. We're just fucking stumbling through this.
I like even in your Letterboxd reviews, because I can't remember which one I was reading, but you start sounding like you know what you're talking about, and you get to a point you can see you suddenly go, shit, I need to quickly say I don't know what I'm talking about here.
Some people who I follow and follow me do know what they're talking about, so I have to look. Please don't think that I'm one of you.
But it's like I'm
just an idiot with a keyboard.
You sound so confident. Then you suddenly go, no, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I'm talking about. I've completely fucking lost my
substance
thread now. Yeah, I know we're talking about the substance, but so I'd said sort of some of the stuff was a bit try hard, because it's like they just paused for so long on so many shots, and they were so drawn out, and it was as if there's some substance in that alone. Like, this is arty, isn't it? I was just like, oh, come on, like, let's get going. I get it. Can we get going now? This is slow and contemplative, is it? Yeah. No, not for me that at all.
So you've watched plenty of other things.
Yeah, rewatched Platoon.
Oh yes,
which I still enjoyed. It's aged a bit, but still enjoyed. I think I would have watched that when I was like 20 years old, so I'd have just loved this cool, gritty war flick.
This was in classic territory for you, though, you were thinking, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite endured. Certainly not in the same way Apocalypse Now has. We've already put that in there.
It's in.
And then
there's no going back now.
I think Platoon is quite obviously not as good as that, and so therefore it's going to be hard to make a case for Platoon being a classic. Amelia Perez, we've touched on.
Well, let's not go into too much detail on that one.
On that one until you watch that. Twisters.
Oh, okay.
Bit of popcorn.
Yeah, did you just fancy a bit of...
yeah, me and the missus watched
Friday
that
night film kind of thing?
Saturday night, I think.
Glenn Powell, is it again?
Glenn Powell. I do like Glenn Powell. I think he's a perfectly serviceable popcorn flick actor.
Do you reckon he's got some crews in him that he'll be able to jump across to the more dramatic-y stuff and do that side of it as well?
I think, which brings me on to Hitman.
Oh, you watched Hitman, yeah.
I watched Hitman. And I didn't think that was as good.
I've not seen Twisted, so I can't comment, but I did really enjoy Hitman.
Yeah, so my problem with Hitman we talked about this a little bit when we talked about American Made and Kick-Ass, two films we've talked about recently. There's obvious parallel with American Made for Hitman, sort of outlandish true stories.
Yeah.
And they've chosen to obviously be a bit more quirky and
Yes, this is quite quirky.
Overboard with it. The difference is, I thought this was very much more Kick-Ass than it was American Made, in that the best bit of the film was Glenn Powell doing all his impressions of other actors and characters. And that is genuinely good, genuinely fun. My issue with that is the film going, that's Glenn Powell. And he's doing Christian Bale. That's funny, isn't it? Glenn Powell doing Christian Bale. And then he does something else. And they're completely not serving the story at that point. They're just going, look at Glenn Powell doing this. Isn't Glenn Powell funny? And it's doing that Kick-Ass thing of telling me they're being irreverent and funny, instead of just fucking getting on with it, and I'll decide whether it is irreverent and fun or not. And there was just too much of that nodding and a wink to the camera, I thought. It basically is a lot less fun as a sort of action flick than American Made, and I found that really to be more of a rom-com, which I wasn't in the mood for. But I think in a different mood, it probably does work as a outlandish rom-com.
Yeah. I think that's probably how I did it. There's less of a adventure kind of thing. It's more centered on the rom-com. And
to your Tom Cruise point, he's getting there. You know, he's got a bit of that about him. He's a good-looking guy. I'm sure. I would put Chris Evans a bit further ahead of him. At the moment, I think, in terms of having made that crossover to like, he's just got a bit more about him acting-wise, but still obviously a horrendously good-looking bloke.
Yeah, you wouldn't kick either out of bed, would you?
So yeah. So that was Hitman. Dead Poet Society.
Oh, is this a Robin Williams little...
I got triggered on a Letterboxd interaction I had. I was like, I've not watched that film for ages. And then I started watching it. I was like, have I actually ever watched this? And then I remembered, like, the plot kept... I was like, yeah, I remember this now. Completely forgot Ethan Hawke was in it, though.
Yes. Yeah,
and he's great in it.
Yeah.
I think as I've put in my review, so I now continue my reevaluation of Ethan Hawke. And it turns out that I'm the prick. Who knew? It was a bit corny, but Robin Williams, that's got to be up there for one of his best roles.
I think one of his best roles, and spoiler alert, we're coming to later in this episode, top 3 Robin Williams films, and it's whether it makes the cut on the best films rather than his best performance as well. So,
I've watched The Apprentice, which
me too. I watched that. I didn't realise you watched that. Interesting.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
It's all right. I think it's wild Jeremy Strong's getting Best Supporting Actor nods.
Oh, really? I thought he was good in...
Very, very same thing over and over and over. It looked like a sort of an impression to me that's honestly not that far away from Jeremy Strong and what he tends to do in a lot of films. My main problem with that is I have real trouble accepting, because of the masses of amounts of evidence to the contrary, I have real trouble of accepting Donald Trump as a real human being. And I know they try to portray him, they're fairly uncompromising in some of the way they portray him, but he still displays normal human emotions at points, and I'm just like, no, I'm not. I can't buy that.
They do show that he kind of is starting to move away from being a human, even in that period of time that they're
there's definitely a progression there, but I just have such trouble accepting that he was ever, because the guy is like, it's not a. He's a sociopath, right? He's genuinely got something, which means he really doesn't have the same feelings that you or I does. And I just have trouble seeing him as anything else. So I was a bit like,
I thought the performance,
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan performance. Like, it wasn't a complete like caricature thing of it. He had some quite subtle sort of bits that built as the film went. I thought as a performance, I thought he was very good. You can see why he's nommed.
Yeah. Like you say, he's definitely at least a slightly different character at the start of the movie to the end of the movie. So Stan's definitely got some stuff to get his teeth into in the way that Chalamet didn't in The Complete Unknown, for instance. But I'm not sure. I didn't really enjoy that much overall, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't actually rated it.
No, me neither.
I'm still deciding as a film what it was, because I was primarily watching it for the performances, for Oscar ballot kind of things. But in terms of the film, it was fine. Like there was certainly nothing bad or offensive about it or like that. It's a well-made film. It's not going to hit the heights, I don't think, but probably fairly middling.
Yeah, I agree. It's also not that interesting. Like what the actual events they talk about. I mean, I already knew about his tax break and stuff like that. And obviously it focuses around that a lot and how he basically gets his start building the Trump empire. But I also know that most of that goes bankrupt and he dwindles his father's fortune.
Yeah.
Which obviously the film doesn't touch on. So yeah, I don't know how particularly interesting the events in the film are.
No, it's almost like it's like the making of a monster kind of act one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you kind of see the beginnings of what he becomes, and I think it only kind of works because you know what he is now.
That's the bit that's tough, isn't it? Like, how can you outdo real life in the case of Donald Trump?
Yeah.
How are you going to live up to that monster? Like you say, if you're making that, how do you do? Yeah,
I think that's where you get credit because you can see a straight line from where that film ends to now, and you can identify that is the same person, and that he's developed to be that level of cockroach.
Fair enough. One more. You'll like this. June.
Ah, yes. Oh, you're not going to surprise me, are you?
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. I could not resist having another dig at Star Wars when I loved it. So I tell you what, right? This sets out. I was like, I'm going to like this because the way it sets out at the start, very very quickly, you get like politics. You get like a sort of a mystery element. You've got bit of a conspiracy, all this sort of stuff, right? And I was like, oh yeah, this is like this is big, this is serious, right? And I was thinking like, and there are obvious parallels to sort of Star Wars. And I did a bit of reading afterwards, and it's like Lucas cited Dune book as an influence. The author of the Dune book was threatening to sue Lucas after Star Wars came out because he said you've ripped so much of it off and all the rest of it. And I was sort of thinking, there's another world where Dune gets its film out first, and then nobody gives a fuck about the camp mess that is Star Wars. That comes.
You've not seen the first Dune, have you?
No, I haven't. And this is where I need a bit. Is that also a camp mess?
I've not seen it, but yes, I think so.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Because I was like, the contrast to the two, I was like, no, this is a proper film, and honestly, like, I was thinking it's kind of funny that people go gaga over Star Wars when this exists, but it was ultimately disappointing. Now, I know they've split the film into two, so there's the potential, and I remain interested for the second one.
It does at least end at a logical point in it as well.
So I assume this is all first act stuff, and we're going to get the meat of the story in part two, right?
I think the story is fairly meaty in the first one, but yeah, you get a meaty second part.
It might be, but this is where I come onto the problems with it. It's fucking way too long, right? It's not just how long it is. It's like we have 5 minutes of dialogue. We have an exchange between characters, right? And then you have 5-10 minutes of just fucking sweeping shots with ominous music. And we do that structure again and again and again and again. And the plot just fucking never gets going. And then the other thing that was bad about it was this fucking sound design. Dialogue was way too low. The music was way too high.
In it?
You could not. It doesn't compare to Tenet. And I knew you'd say this. I called this out in my review. It doesn't compare to Tenet. I mean, one, because the dialogue is a lot less important in Tenet than it is in this. There's a much richer story and many more characters going on in this film. And it was really... I ended up having to fucking turn it down because I couldn't turn it up loud enough to be able to hear the dialogue, because then the fucking music was... Vicky came downstairs, she was like, what are you watching? The room's vibrating. Right.
So I didn't
turned it down and watched it with subtitles.
I didn't find a problem with that at all in the cinema.
And it might be a different mix in the cinema, to be fair.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few people
have I watched it at home
negatively.
I think I've watched it when it was on Netflix or something.
In the reviews.
Didn't find an issue with it.
No, it really got in the way. So like genuinely, I was interested in it, and I'm still interesting. It looks, really
And you've
good
seen a
for
film
us
with
to-
Zendaya in now?
Yes, that's true.
Well
Well,
done.
sort of. She's fucking.
Oh, she's not
flirts.
actually that much, is she?
Yeah. But like there was those two technical problems really got in the way. So like I get why anyone likes it because it's part of this thing people already know and love. But I did not think that was a great film at all. But I watched the second one, and I would say I'm pretty open-minded to it. It was promising, even if ultimately disappointing.
Let's see if we can get above Amelia Perez, eh?
We'll talk about that when you've watched Amelia Perez.
Is that your lot? Is that your...
That is my lot. That's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot. You should get some sleep, mate.
I know, I'm going to start going to bed. But, yeah.
Any other corrections, apologies, or anything like that we need to touch on before we unveil the ale?
Yeah, a couple of corrections from the weddings episode. One was a verbal shart of mine. When I said something like, I'm going to contravene your change. I mean, what the fuck does that mean?
I mean, I don't know, but it sounds dirty.
It's dubious on its own, but I'm fairly sure that I then went on to agree with you, which, as I understand the word contravene to mean, is not in the same ballpark.
Contravene?
Yeah, honestly, just verbal diarrhea, mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure it makes any sense, but yeah.
So, sorry to all those who had to listen to that. No one's more upset about it than I am. And then, Rebus.
Oh, yeah, we talked about Rebus, yeah. John Hannah.
It's John Hannah. It's Ken Stott, mate, Rebus.
Is it not John Hannah as well?
It's Ken Stott. Yeah, we should have had a right old argument about it because it's both of them.
This is both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I think one takes over from the other. Like one does a series and the other does two series.
I think John Hannah was first, right? Was he?
Right, and then Ken Stott, I think, does two series after that. So
Okay.
yeah, it's both of them, mate.
So, good. We were both right. That's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Carl, I'm thirsty.
Right. There's a link to the film.
Ooh. Well, I mean, that is the whole fucking point, so that's good. Otherwise, we're just drinking for drinking's sake, and no one wants to do that.
I've got you. Peter's best bitter.
Very good. Oh.
Loves it, doesn't he? His best bitter, Peter Pan.
What do we feel about this bottle shape?
I think
I've seen it before. It's like this is not the first time I've seen a St. Peter's.
Saint Peter. Why are you putting the Saint?
Peter's.
Peter's.
Peter's. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I don't know if it's still oval, so there's no sharp edge. I was going to say, like, I'd be slightly worried about if it overcarbonated, it'd be shattering because it's not round. Round's stronger than oval, but then oval's still a lot more stronger than square or triangle, I guess. So, yeah,
that's what all the viewers are thinking. The viewers are thinking? No, we don't have viewers, do we? We've got listeners.
We barely have listeners.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll open it up and then we'll get on to the film. All right, let's get on to the movie, which is Hook. So, a reminder of our ratings first. Bit weird, because we're not necessarily disagreeing with each other on this one, but we do have a simple 5-point scale. You either really like it, you like it. You're ambivalent, you don't like it, or you really don't like it. So, we haven't actually talked about where we both are on this scale. Let's hope positive.
Yeah, imagine if it's not.
Carl, where are you on the scale?
I'm going to say I like it, for sure. Do you know what? I could even go to really... We'll see how this conversation goes. Could even go to really like it.
Yeah, I'm banging the like it. Yeah, for sure.
I really enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed writing my notes up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, man.
Cool. Have you got like a little summary of generally what you want to get across as the key point when we're arguing with the critics?
Yeah, so there is, I think, one thing which we'll touch on in production that you can use as a stick to beat this film, and that's fine. But I think it is obviously primarily a kids' film, but they do a really good job of weaving in a broader, sort of more grown-up storyline as well. So I think it holds up. I know my kids love it. I liked it as a kid, and I like it as an adult as well. It's there's plenty to like about it.
Yeah, this hits big in the nostalgia factor for me. I remember watching this as a kid and loving it. I've previously revisited this with Theo a few years ago and still stood up then and then as part of this rewatch. Though it doesn't hit the heights of like a Spielberg classic as such, there's a lot of fun to be had with it. Hoffman and Hoskins hamming it up, Williams doing his thing, and 90s kid acting that you just don't exist like this anymore.
No, they don't.
So that's us, Carl. We both like it.
Mm.
But what about the critics? The ones we're fighting. So we're saying that this is an underrated film. And I say, it's... Some critics have said it's a woefully uneven retelling of the Peter Pan story. The hook never sets sail. Which is a really shit line, by the way. It's like, never flies or never takes off, short flying thing, whatever. A woefully uneven... I've already said that. PP phone home, or at least get a new agent.
No.
See what they're trying there? It lights up your eyes, but it doesn't quite warm your heart. As top-heavy as Captain Hook's ornate and mobile ship, this lavish, elaborate production ultimately collapses under its own weight.
Okay.
Yeah, so this has got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 29%, so...
Atrocious. That.
Yeah, largely unfavourable reviews there
ridiculous.
from the critics.
What did we do last time was underrated? Cocktail, okay.
Cocktail, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is some logic here a little bit that we can use in Cocktail as well, because Cocktail is not a particularly serious film.
No.
And I think we sort of said, you don't need to be getting that in a twist about it. Just chill out. It definitely applies here.
Yeah.
Primarily a bloody kids' film.
Largely a kids' adventure-y
Collapses
type
into its
film
own
fantasy.
weight. What are you talking about? Yeah. Fucking critics, man.
All right, let's move on to the cast. And we can start nowhere else apart from with Sir Robin Williams, who plays Peter Banning / Pan. Spoilers. Now, Robin Williams. I think, as always, whenever I watch Robin Williams, his absence in the world is felt.
Yeah.
Do love a bit of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
It's just so much energy. You forget how good an actor he actually is as well.
Yeah.
You talked about
Dead Poets.
Dead Poet Society and those. You just forget how genuinely good he is.
Yeah.
I think in this, he does both the serious, non-believing adult plus the sort of rediscovered kid parts really well. And although that there is a transition between those, I think he shows a little bit of that journey as it were really well. And he actually manages to make me care, even though that his adult character is a bit of an arsehole. And
Yeah, so you say.
okay, I'm listening. When are we going to get to this where we're defending?
Plot, let's do plot.
Okay, fine. What are your thoughts on old Robin Williams?
Yeah, I love him. I liked this film as a kid because of the sort of the, I don't know if you call it a fairy tale, which is just a children's story or whatever. The whole sort of Peter Pan element, and
Yeah.
It
I think fairy tale's fine.
looks really good. So I would have come to it for sort of that. I would have been like 11 at the time, so I think even then, was it like 94?
91.
91.
You've been 6.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it straight away.
Oh, okay. You watched it 5 years later.
Maybe not that old. Maybe not that old. Maybe I was like 9, 10.
Okay.
But basically, I was too cynical to go straight in for the fairy tale thing. So even back then, I appreciated the weaving in of the into the real world bit, because I was like, oh, this is a way I can get into the story, into the film. Right? I realise now as an adult, this film was essentially just a vehicle for Robin Williams.
Yes.
And
so
that's
you have
born
to
out
have
of necessity to go, how are we going to weave him in to be Peter Pan,
Yeah.
So I realise that now. But I can see why you would want to do that, because this role is actually fairly diverse for him, like you've touched on. I can't think of too many more when he gets to be silly and do the funny voices and the physical comedy side of it, and do the
serious in the same
warm,
film. Yeah.
serious father figure. He plays a teacher a lot.
Yeah.
So it's a really good vehicle for him, I think, and he absolutely delivers. I think he's fantastic. I love him.
Good stuff. So big thumbs up for Robin Williams. What about his old enemy, Hook? Captain James Hook?
You said hamming it up.
It's probably the wrong word.
I do know where you're coming from there, because he's not playing it as straight down the line as Michael Caine does in Muppets, but he is still taking it just as serious.
Yeah. I said he's clearly loving it and completely committed to it as well.
He's like really fierce, isn't he?
Yeah, he's come across quite sinister. I remember being a little bit intimidated and scared when I watched this as a kid.
Yeah.
he is quite sinister.
It's really good and obvious. I think Pirates of the Caribbean taking influence for Barbossa, Jeffrey Rush's character.
Oh yeah,
I think you can see a lot of this Captain Hook in that character. Really, really good. Can't think of too many comedic roles I'll have seen Hoffman in.
No.
But he's fantastic in it. He really is.
I think it kind of goes to show that, like, if you're a very good actor, you can probably do whatever genre you want to a degree, right? But yeah, I thought he was great. And what about his assistant, Smee? Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Really good.
Another one that when you see him, you just say, "Oh, Bob Hoskins, he was good, wasn't he?"
Really good. Have you heard the story Bob Hoskins tells about Long Good Friday? I think, is it Long Good Friday? No, he's in Long Good Friday.
Long Good Friday's not right.
He's in...
that doesn't sound right.
There's a film Bob Hoskins was in, and I can't even remember the director now, so I'm doing this story no justice whatsoever. But the director rings him up and says, "Do you want to play this part?" And he goes, "Yes." And I think it went to Robert De Niro, right, this part. Or maybe Jack Nicholson, actually. Whatever it was. The film gets made without him, and Bob Hoskins goes, "Oh well, never mind. That never came to fruition." And then he meets the director, and the director goes, "Oh, there's your 200K." He goes, "What's that for?" And he goes, "Well, I asked you to be in it, and you kept yourself free, but we just went in a different direction." And Bob Hoskins is saying, "Well, if you ever don't want me to be in anything else, just let me know."
It is Long Good Friday. Sorry,
it is Long Good Friday. Yeah.
I don't know
who got the part instead?
He was in it. He was in Long Good Friday.
No, yeah, but that's not the. This is a film he didn't end up being.
Oh
in.
right. Well, then I don't know how I'm going to find that. Search for films. Bob Hoskins wasn't.
But
in.
he's just, when he's telling it, he's such a great raconteur, and he's just bringing all of that charm and sort of cheek to this role. He's really, really fun.
Yeah, he's doing everything with a twinkle.
Yeah,
twinkle in his eye. Yeah, love him. Loved him in the British Gas adverts as well. No, not British Gas. BT adverts. Yeah. I was getting confused with the thumb and the little flame.
Yeah, that's British Gas.
Yeah, and then don't you just love being in control? Is that the BT one? Is that British Gas? I'm getting so confused. Anyway, he was in the BT ones. Yeah. Anyway, that was fucking pointless. Good. Where do you want to go next?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, Tinker Bell.
I do think that I might be quite attracted to Julia Roberts as a fairy.
Yeah. I would agree. Pretty early on in her career, this is like just after Pretty Woman. Yeah. And yeah, I think she makes a very good fairy.
Yep. Probably move on from that before we examine those positions too deeply.
Indeed. Yeah, she was a lot of fun. What about, let's go the other, Maggie Smith. Let's quick, that'll help.
Yeah, amazing. So 1991, you said. I mean, she still looks this way 20 years later.
Well, I think they aged her in this.
It's incredible.
Right?
I don't know.
Because she looks older in this than she does when she died.
Yeah. Toby Smith's mum.
Jaden Smith, right? Yeah.
Jaden Smith, yeah.
Yeah, actually Toby Stevens' mum.
Toby Stevens, that's it, not even Smith.
No.
Yeah, Jaden Smith.
But yeah, I think they've make up. I think they've make up to make her older because she is meant to be the grandma of Robin Williams' wife, right?
Yeah.
So she's got to be like close to 100.
Yeah.
And she's obviously not in 1901. She would have been much younger than that.
Yeah, younger than that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they must have aged her there. But I love watching Maggie Smith. I think she's really good. She can do the Maggie Smith stuff. She delivers warmth, sincerity. I like her.
Curt when she needs to be.
Yep. I've got bits on Julia Roberts and Maggie Smith characters in plot that I'm looking forward to getting to, by the way. Do you want to go to the Lost Boys now? Any Lost Boys, or do you want to go to the kids?
Let's do the kids.
Kids. Okay, so we got Charlie Cosmo as Jack and Amber Scott as Maggie.
I'll do them as together.
Yeah, same.
I think they're both very good. I think that they've both got a bit of acting to do. Jack more so than what's her face?
Maggie.
Oh, and Maggie's also younger. So I think for her age, she hasn't quite got as much to do, but I think she's doing very, very well. But yeah, I think Charlie Cosmo's really good. He has to be angry at points. He has to be very sad at other points. He has to be regretful. Yeah, he's doing a lot.
Does a good job, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, computer's trying to do restarts. What about any of the Lost Boys then? I've called out two.
I've only written one down. Dante Basco.
For Rufio.
Yeah. Always thought Rufio was a prick. Never liked him.
Yeah, but you come round to him.
I'm not sure I ever did. But I do think that Dante Basco is doing a very good job as the sort of arrogant kid who then obviously gets displaced and is annoyed about that at first.
Yep.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, I like a lot of the Lost Boys. This is where the sort of 90s kid acting comes in to it. You just don't get performances like that in films nowadays, and I don't know what it is about it, or whether they just get thesps in that have gone through a lot of training.
I don't know, it's weird that because I bet a lot of these kids
I bet they have as well. Yeah,
from affluent backgrounds as well. But yeah, there's definitely
the one I wanted to point out was Rashawn Hammond as Thudbutt.
Thudbutt, yeah.
Who is fantastic.
He does some really good imaginary eating. I absolutely believe.
I mean, he's had a lot of experience by looking.
I absolutely believe he's got a big juicy stomach. Julie Roberts, not so much.
No,
she can't live with the kids when it comes to imaginary eating. But Thudbutt in particular, that kid, yeah. Really,
you almost saw it, didn't you? You could always see what he was eating.
Yeah,
for sure. Only other one to call out? What about Moira? Caroline Goodall?
Yeah, I mean, not a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah, no notes. I wrote there. And then two little cameos. Phil Collins.
Yes.
Spotted him as Inspector Good.
Yeah.
And then Gwyneth Paltrow as young Wendy. Just, nice to see a friend.
Do you not think, though, his mum looked also an awful lot like Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't really notice.
It's like the frame before we see Gwyneth Paltrow. And because I knew she was in it, and then it shows his mum, and we just get like a side profile. There's Gwyneth Paltrow. And then it cuts to her. I said, no, hang on a minute, she's not the mum. She's Wendy. She's young Wendy.
No, wait, that's Gwyneth Paltrow.
I was like, is there something in that? Is she supposed to be playing the same? No, I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe it's just
I've got one more, actually. I didn't get the name, but great dog.
Yes.
A really good dog.
Oh, the dog. Oh, no, what's the dog called? Bosco? No.
Is it? I don't know, it's just a Dulux dog, isn't it?
It's just... oh, no, I need to...
But yeah, really, really one of those dogs that you just like be happy to bounding towards you as you come in the door or whatever. Yeah.
All right, I need to know what the dog's called now.
Yeah.
The dog... Oh, it's just pictures of dog hooks. This isn't helpful.
No.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Recasting, Carl. You
Haven't done any, mate.
You're not too hard? Couldn't be bothered. What are you doing?
Oh, a bit of both, I suppose. But...
It's a tricky one, I thought.
Generally... do you know, I realised I keep saying...
Generally
instead of genuinely.
Yeah.
And it's not even that, like, I'm, like, getting the word. I just can't talk. I literally can't talk.
Yeah, words are hard, mate.
Yeah. Genuinely, it is really difficult to do the two main ones because Hoffman is so good as Hook.
Yeah.
And then there is no other Robin Williams. Like...
No. Who would you even...
As I said, this is a vehicle very much for him.
Yeah.
So when I couldn't get those two, I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm not recasting this.
So just Emily Blunt as either Tinkerbell or Moira or Smee.
Yeah, she could be Tinkerbell, couldn't she? Yeah. With the lovely long legs.
Should we move on?
Yep.
Oh, the only one I thought that if we were doing a recasting now, Mark Rylance would be in it somewhere.
Yeah. He'd probably be Hook.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to production. And this is directed by a young up-and-comer, Signor Spielbergo.
Signor Spielbergo.
You might be familiar with some of his other work.
Yes.
I'm not going to list them all. There's a lot of them.
No.
We all know who he is. We all
What'd
know
be funny
what he's
there
done.
is if you just listed all the shit ones.
Just all the ones I haven't seen. Because there are actually quite a few. Well, not quite a few. There's a over a handful, I think, that I haven't seen yet.
I think he considers this one a dud.
He does. Have you read something, seen
I
her?
don't think he was entirely happy about agreeing to make it in the first place whenever it actually rolled round. I think he said something like he's never watched it, although he did then rewatch it after Robin Williams died, and he sort of revised his opinion a little bit and said, "Didn't enjoy making it, but ultimately I'm glad I did because I got to work with Robin Williams."
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think he had the greatest of time on it, but I've got to say I think it's got all the hallmarks.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got the emotional side of it there. It's got the sort of adventure-y bit. It's got sort of E.T. aspects to it and so on in there.
Yeah. And before we get too deep into Spielberg, do you know who the producer was?
No.
Dodie Fired.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that pop up at the end.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
In between Shtup and Lady Di.
Yeah.
he was knocking films out. I never knew what he did.
I did notice that. Yeah. Well, he's got money. That's why.
Yeah. And do you know what else he produced? FX2.
I was going to say a splatter effect.
FX2.
Oh, FX2.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? When your favourite?
That's come up again. Well, it's not my favourite. But, yeah.
Producer, just while we're on it, I asked my two friends who are in the kind of...
in the biz. You say in the biz?
Yeah, kind of in the biz. One of them works at Warner's and one does video editing. But still, I was like,
No, actually in the biz.
what is a producer?
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, dumb it down for me.
Yeah, speak to me like I'm 5.
And essentially, they're like they manage the budget, right? So if the director comes and goes, I want to shoot here and here and here, and they go, have you thought about just doing it in a studio because it's cheaper, kind of thing. It's like, we want to hire this guy. Well, we can't afford that guy. You can go somewhere else. So essentially, it's like a more administrative, purse stringy type role where you're kind of approving and doing things. So I don't think we're miles off. Anyway, moving on. This had a budget of 70 million.
Yes, which
Quite
is
high.
not nothing in those days.
It's not nothing.
Yeah.
It did make 300 million in the global box office though, so tidy profit.
Yeah. I wonder how much they spent on marketing though.
Yeah, I never know when they quote these budgets, whether it's literally just a production budget.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? The critics said about the production that the story is largely becalmed. Never come across that word before.
No.
So that we can wallow in the production values. The sets are variable but often unpleasant on the eye.
No.
They also said this enormous wheeze comes over like the proverbial movie with a $40 million set and a 5-cent script, which may hold its interest for under fives, but will leave most others cold.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, harsh. I'm telling you, they're harsh.
I mean, the worst thing, let's cut to the chase. The worst thing about this film is it's too long.
It is way too long. yeah. I think there is definitely an argument
That's got
to say.
anything to do with what they've just said.
No. Like, you probably do need to cut half an hour off of this.
Yeah.
At least 20 minutes.
You want to lose half an hour. I mean, I'll come out in defence of that a little bit because I definitely didn't feel that as a kid. My kids didn't feel it.
No.
And I can't honestly say I felt it this time round. Like, I can definitely sit back afterwards and go, ooh, 2 hours 20, that's a bit too long. Lose this. I can do that because it feels like it should be a bit too long. But I don't think it's the massive problem that...
No, I don't think when I was in it, I was going, Jesus Christ, it's still going on. Oh, this bit's dragging, or anything like that. It did kind of whiz along pretty...
I can see what annoys people, but I didn't feel it quite so much.
Yeah.
I love the pirate set.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Can you imagine the CGI shit they'd make now?
Yeah, you could say this has all been built, hasn't it? This is all there. This is all physical stuff.
Yeah.
And even like the Lost Boys.
Yeah, well, this is that line there. Impressive but unpleasant. The Lost Boys bit looked like an adventure playground.
Yeah, it looked like it was designed and made by kids, right? Yeah. Like this is exactly what kids who had never grew up would have built over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of magical. But hey-o. The score, you could tell who it was, couldn't you?
Oh, it's John Williams.
Yeah. Just instantly, as soon as it first started up, you're just like, oh, that's John Williams.
Yeah.
You could pick up the little hooks, as it were. A little Home Alone here, little Back to the Future there. You can kind of
Don't ask me to differentiate them again. We can't do that game again.
Oh, okay, we'll do a different game. That's fine.
Oh, is that your game?
No, I've got a different one. But yeah, I've kind of just got a random collection of thoughts of things I liked, and then maybe a couple of things I didn't. I don't know if you've organised your thoughts in any logical way, and then I'll just piggyback on those.
Generally, the only thing I didn't like was the length of it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would cut out like the mermaid scene entirely. That was the only one.
The what scene? The sexy mermaid scene, you mean?
Yeah, sexy mermaid
scene. Yeah.
That was the only one I was like, what's this doing here? This feels a little self-indulgent.
Sexy mermaids.
Yeah. Otherwise, the rest of it, you just need to tighten up little bits here and there. Right. Yeah. That was, generally speaking, the only negative note I have.
The mermaid scene seemed essentially like, we want him to go into the sea, and then we need to get him to this island.
Yes.
So we need something that shows him getting to there that makes sense.
That would have been fine. Yeah. But I really liked the whole 90s aesthetic of this. Like we said, we've got the real sets. I love Hook's cabin as well. So we've already called out the pirate ship. I think it's great. The Lost Boys place, like an adventure playground. But his cabin, when we get inside his cabin, is just like fantastic.
Just a drawer full of the same boots, and rolls of that. The little play area, because he's essentially like a child, isn't he? But he's
there's loads of just little details like that, and actually there's a few details throughout the movie. So even when they do like a joke, even if it's a bit of slapstick or whatever, and actually thinking about where he falls into the water in the mermaid, he doesn't just get knocked off. He rolls backwards and then bounces on the plank before he falls off. Like there's plenty of small stuff like that, and like you said, pulling out the shoes that are all the same. There's the red carpet down. The
red carpet was so satisfying to watch.
Fantastic.
Why is that so satisfying to watch when it goes in and then just it like comes back out?
Doesn't need
again?
it. Just a little thing there, little Easter egg, sort of like it's me. And that it didn't work as well. So it's not just that it arrives and then it just rolls out. We get a little. All right, I'll just knock that out. Yeah. I loved all those little things like that. So a bit of a joy really on that front. I thought.
Yeah, some other little sort of touches as well. So just like the little hook on the window latch in Wendy's house. So it's just like a Captain Hook on there. It's just that little thing. It's just like the shadows that they did.
I was going to say shadows. Yeah, shadows is a good one.
Yeah, so they did that when they were sort of reading stories and stuff. They had the shadows there, and then obviously there's a lot of shadows with Pan and his shadow and interacting. But you see the shadows in a number of different places, and it's dead good. Even the romanticism of early cell phones early on in the film, there's something about pulling up a little antenna and flipping it open. Yeah. They just go, I miss that kind of phone. That'll be good. What else have I got? So the Neverland world building as well. So 3 moons, compass points in the sea, all kind of builds magic, like the weird islands and all of the pirate sets. The Lost Boys home with the weapons and the armor in particular.
Oh where they jump
through and just like sticks to them.
Yeah.
Completely aligned with how kids might design these sorts of things and kind of builds that magic. And just all the costumes are great, and it's not something you usually call out, but when you're in like a fantasy kind of land stuff and things don't look weird or out of place or anything, it just fits with the world that you've got. I thought all of that stuff, all good production-y stuff. You got any more good things you want to?
Well, going back to the real world, you mentioned shadows and the hook on the window. All of that sequence is very well shot when the kids get kidnapped.
Yeah.
Down to the obviously the slashes on the door that then go up the hallway and curtains and all that sort of stuff. And the way they move through it with like shadows is quite sort of scary as an adult or whatever. They're really taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I think they do a really good job.
There's a bit in that as well, which I was going to talk about in plot, but it doesn't matter, where the nanny is like in shock or whatever. He goes, the children, they were screaming. It's just like, fuck, all right, love, chill, take it down on a kids' movie. You're going to be quite so haunted. Jesus. A couple of things that I didn't love about the production, and it's just minor quibbles, and it is 1991, remembering this, but some of the effects not quite as strong as they maybe could be, even for the time, particularly the Tinkerbell effects when she's kind of flying and stuff, where it's impossible to actually see Roberts clearly, and sometimes she is meant to be sort of there and acting and being involved in it, which is a little bit annoying that you've got Julia Roberts and you can't quite see her being Julia Roberts. But apart from that, there's nothing really production-wise that really stood out as something that was a pain.
I do agree actually with that. It is a bit of a shame how she essentially is relegated to a plot device, in that she is like the mechanism to get him to and from Neverland.
Yeah.
And then she drops in as a bit of exposition now and again. But she actually doesn't have much to do for the rest of the film. And like you say, even when we see her in some scenes, we're not really seeing her. We're just seeing her like a painted, like, because she's in like the fighting scene.
Yes, where it's just a glowing ball, basically.
And it's just a thing, isn't it? I think there's one at the start and one at the end. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame on that front that they couldn't find a way to get actual Julia Roberts on screen a bit more.
Yeah, indeed. So. You got anything more on production?
No, that is it for production.
Game time then, Carl.
Ooh.
So this is panned or hooked. Okay. So this is for each of the following children's movies. I want you to say whether you think the critics panned it, or whether they were hooked by it, or were they somewhere in between? Were they a lost boy in between? Or she? Sorry.
Oh, hang on. So there's a third now.
There's a third one.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. This is based on
what's your criteria?
This is based on Rotten Tomatoes. So panned is less than 60%.
Okay.
Hooked, greater than 80%.
Yeah.
Lost Boy, 61 to 79.
So 60 to 80. Right. Got you.
Yeah, so less than or equal to 60.
Yeah.
Panned. 61 to 79. No, 61 to 80. Hooked. No, 61 to 79. Lost Boy. Yeah. Greater than or equal to 80. Right. Hooked. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Right, there we go. Okay, you ready? Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Oh, that's got to be panned.
Hooked. 86.
No.
Yeah, surprising.
Jesus Christ.
Much higher than Sonic the Hedgehog. Weirdly. Theo, sorry, he said he liked it. I was just like, okay. But maybe he was right. Who knows? Home Alone 2.
I suspect that is a Lost Boy.
Panned. 35.
35?
Yeah.
Oh, we could do that one as underrated.
Yeah.
In fact, we've already penciled I should have known that.
We have talked about this already. I thought it was a little warm-up for you that I thought you'd get, but never mind.
Absolutely shut the bed here.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Ooh.
Where do you think the critics
had
that
that one? That came out the
one?
year after this, I think.
Yeah, it was quite soon after, wasn't it?
Although I thought this was 1994.
So maybe it's 94.
Yeah. I mean, it could go anyway. Either way.
Could be any of three, couldn't it?
It could be any of the three. Yeah. Let's say that was a Lost Boy.
Here's a Lost Boy, 71.
Yeah.
The Goonies.
Oh, that was probably a hook.
Lost Boy, 73.
Lost Boy.
The Emoji Movie.
That's got to be panned.
Yes, 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
That is maybe a bit too low as well.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've not. The Princess Diaries.
Oh, it's got to be hooked, surely.
Princess Diaries, not the Princess Bride.
All right. No idea what you're talking about.
Anne Hathaway.
Not got a clue, mate.
Okay, do you want to take a guess?
Actually, I might have seen that one, thinking about it.
It's got Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway in it.
Who's the male lead?
I've no idea.
Let's say that was panned.
It was 49.
Yeah.
Panned, 49. Despicable Me.
Hooked.
Yep, 80. Bang on, just on that side. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the remake with Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, yeah. Yep. Let's say that's a Lost Boy.
Hooked, 83.
Ooh.
Surprising. Beauty and the Beast, live action.
With Emma Watson.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that, you know.
I know you didn't.
Let's say that's a Lost Boy.
It's a Lost Boy, 71.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
Oh, that's got to be hooked, surely.
Lost Boy, 66.
Oh, what have they got against the Home Alones?
I don't know. It's a weird one. Not Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah. That's Hooked.
Is Hooked 87?
Yeah.
High. I didn't rate that at all.
It's because it's got some ethnic stuff in there, so they'll be making sure to. Oh no, like
You're just gonna say woke nonsense next?
No. You see this all the time. You'll know what I mean when you've watched Amelia Perez, mate. You see this all the time with critics. They are like, because they're thinking about themselves and how they're portrayed, what people will think about them.
I can't say this is shit.
Well,
They'll
it's
just
not
call
that
me
they
a
can't
racist.
say that. It's more the other way, isn't it? The virtue signaling and like, I need to make sure that I come across as really liberal and tolerant here. So.
All right. The Sound of Music.
If this is Hooked, I have a feeling we could do this as an overrated.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
It's 3 hours long.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Let's say it's Hooked.
It is Hooked 83.
Yeah, there's potential there.
And then last one, The Polar Express.
Oh, that's going to be panned.
Panned 55 because it's shit.
Yeah.
Very good. There we go. That was a big long list of movies. I was meant to edit that down, but fuck it. Okay, let's move on to the plot. And just to start with what the critics say, just so we can either agree or disagree with them. A good half hour too long.
Fair enough.
And badly in need of some scares.
No, I don't know about that.
Hook is a huge party cake of a movie with too much frosting after the first delicious bite, sugar shock sets in.
They just talk shit, don't they?
Yeah. They come up with a nice line.
Yeah, that's it. They're like, thinking about how their reviews are going to be consumed more than they are actually thinking about the content of what they're saying.
I didn't think it came across as too saccharine sweet either, particularly.
No, I mean, there is a serious storyline running through it with the dad and the kids and stuff.
The kid literally wants his father dead.
Yes. Yeah. I told you the kid was an arsehole. You want to talk about that now? Talk about why Peter's
go for it. Yeah, go on. Let's lead off with that.
I mean, what has Peter really done wrong?
Neglected his child and dedicated himself to work.
Right, first of all, paid for all the houses is the first thing. Let's get
Taking him on holiday to London, bastard.
Yeah, let's get this straight. Doesn't show up to the baseball game.
Yeah.
But we see, clearly not for want of trying, and he wants, so here you go, video the bits I've missed. And that's a lovely thought, you know. He's working with what he can do. Also, who schedules a baseball game during work's time?
Well, is he working out of hours there?
That wasn't the impression I got. And then that's pretty much it.
He's not very present, is he? When they're on holiday and he's on the phone and they just want to have fun.
It's the deal of a lifetime. He's on the call of his life, right? And they're there just running around, getting in his ear. And then he's like, "That's enough for him to go. No parachute for you. Come on now, little shitbag."
Kids having it.
Yeah. So no, I mean, obviously the conceit is that there's a broken relationship there to heal. I quite liked when they do reconnect with Wendy. Wendy's got no time for Peter's bullshit. When Jack's going like, and then a dad comes in and he blows them out of the water. And she tells him directly, "You've become a pirate." And in doing so, she makes a better commentary on the corporate world than Up in the Air did.
Still, you just got to get the digs in there, don't you?
I just want to get. She tells him straight. There's no fucking fluffing up here. I do like the plot. Like I say, back then I would have looked at it as my way to get into a children's story.
Yeah.
And now I realise it's a vehicle for Robin Williams first and foremost, but I think it works very well. I'll cut to the chase as well on the plot as a whole. And I mean, maybe this is, some people are going to say this is saccharine sweet. I don't know. I thought it was just genuinely very touching. His happy thought being that he's a dad.
Yeah, not his daughter. Just his son.
His happy thought being, I think he says his kids, doesn't he?
No, he just said, "My son, you are my happy thought." Like, literally to him.
Yeah.
This was like his first kid. So
Yeah,
it was him becoming a
best
father.
kid, yeah.
Was really
But then he did go to her play, didn't he? So,
he did.
you know,
exactly.
that looked like it was in the evening, though. Far more reasonable time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, you could be sort of cynical and go, oh, God, he's a dad. But I was like, at that point, I was just like, oh, it's Dustin.
He's remembering, because that was nice, that part, because he was actually remembering why he left Neverland, right? Because he wanted to become a dad, and he'd lost the sight of all of that. I think that little messagey bit was nice, because I think you can relate to that, right? You kind of you can get stuck in the day-to-day grind of being a parent and working and doing all of that thing, and then you actually lose sight of why you wanted to have children in the first place in terms of being a father and being a dad. And I think it was
like in the script,
nice.
But actually, Hook makes that very counterpoint as well for them, which is ultimately what Peter's arc is going against when he's saying, do you know why they read to you every night? Just to get some peace from your incessant fucking me.
It's great, that.
Yeah. They read to shut you up. So that's all there in the story, as you say, and I think it's pretty well done. I sort of don't really have much time for people who are poo-pooing that, to be honest with you. It is too long, I agree with that. I didn't feel it, but I can see how somebody would.
Yeah. It's difficult to figure out where you would trim the fat, though.
Well, like I said, the mermaid scene is the only one that jumped out to me.
Yeah, it's 30 seconds.
I think no, it's a good 2-3 minutes. Yeah.
I appreciated the sexy mermaids anyway. Does it count as cheating if they are breathing air into you to keep you alive?
Oh, it's not just that, is it? When Tinkerbell gets big.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, he has a kiss there as well, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let me just...
What a dog Peter is.
You dog. So, this is... there's a couple of weird bits. This was one of them, right, in the plot. So, Tinkerbell is revealed to be both a kidnapper and willing adulterer. Adulteress? Whatever. So,
yeah.
she literally steals a baby, takes it off to Neverland because he, rolled down a hill rather than reunite with the parents. Then...
a crime which she repeats.
Then kind of falls in love with that baby as he grows into a boy. Another bit of grooming there.
Yeah.
Then the willing adulteress, so she becomes big, plants a big kiss on Peter. Theo literally shouted at this point, "He's married!" I was like, good lad. So yeah, Tinkerbell, bit dark. There's a dark underbelly to this fairy.
See, my kids probably like that because they're into Taylor Swift.
Go on.
Hey, I don't like your girlfriend. Hey, I think you need a new one. What do you think she's saying there, hey?
That isn't Taylor Swift, is it?
She's like, it's me. Is it not? I don't know. They're all the bloody same.
Is that Avril Lavigne?
Is it? Oh, yeah, it might be. They're into her and all.
Yeah, well, she's great.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, adultery, not something she's concerned about.
Ah, okay. Got you. The other weird bits were, again, Granny Wendy gets a bit horny for grown-up Peter at one point when she's starting to recall their time together. They were both children. Starts just putting her head a little bit close, looks at him, starts puckering up a little bit.
Pick up. I think that's a you thing, that one, mate. I didn't get any of that.
It's like, dude, that's the husband of your grandchild. Come on.
Yeah.
It's fleeting, but I dig the kink. It's fine. It's fine. The wife as well. If we're talking about getting horny, when he returns and he's all youth and energized and stuff, and stuff,
he's got a new lust for life.
Look on her face; she's just like, oh, she almost does that Rebecca Ferguson lip biting thing. You can just see in her eyes how she's thinking of putting this newfound energy and enthusiasm to good use. Filth.
Were you very horny when you watched this?
Oh, I was awake.
Yeah.
But yeah, other non-sexual things that I liked about the movie. I loved all the time that was spent with Hook and Smee. A lot of fun. The suicide scene in particular.
Oh God, yeah. Smee, don't try to stop me this time, Smee.
Stop me.
Smee, try to stop me. Smee, get your ass over here, Smee. I'm trying to commit suicide.
And to me, it's just like, oh, not again. When it's like, oh,
Are you a sadist, me? Don't ever do that to me again. Yeah, it's very good.
loved all that. The bit I like with the Lost Boys was when one of the kids was when Rufio had like drawn the line or whatever. It's like, oh, join us over here. And one of the kids basically like massages Peter's face, and he's just there and he's just doing it, and then he does it, and he goes like, "Oh, there you are, Peter."
There's a minute you can cut out of that scene.
Yeah, it's true. I quite like it though.
No, it's a good scene, but there's another minute you can cut.
Fair point. I really loved the imaginary food scene.
Yeah, there's a couple of minutes you can cut out of that scene.
Yeah, but I think the with the turnaround that comes when he sort of flicks the imaginary food into his face.
Yeah.
When he has the insult battle, where you start getting into the proper Robin
that's
Williams.
That's the only one I never
bit.
liked that. So I do like that whole scene, both for it's kind of fun and you've got the overarching thing of it is very touching. But I never liked the insult battle, even as a kid.
No?
A bit cringe.
That's when
Very American.
Williams is going a bit Williamsy though, isn't he? He's probably starting to riff a little bit on there, and
but the best insult he gave him was before that, when he just went, "You fucking skunk head with too much mousse."
Yeah.
He nailed him there. That's who you are, you little prick. Absolutely, that's the most cutting one. The rest of them are just a bit silly. So yeah, I was never a fan of those. But
so you're not being a fan of Rufio?
Yeah.
How did you feel his death came across then? Because I thought it was quite a brave move to actually kill a child.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is why I'm happy to say this is actually a really good plot. And people starting to it's weak scripts, but fucking don't be silly. Because it doesn't pull its punches on that at all. So yes, it is very touching with the whole father-kids relationship, all the rest of it. Obviously, they're leaning into the Peter Pan bit, but they proper go for it with it. Yeah, like you say, they're going to kill a kid.
Yeah.
And Hook isn't just a pantomime villain; he's an actual villain.
Yeah.
So it then does feel, much more triumphant when he gets bloody eaten by the croc.
Yeah, the fight scenes with the kids versus the pirates, large, impressive, and really stupidly fun.
I should say as well, I missed a bit on the Rufio's death.
Oh, yeah.
He says as he dies, he turns to Jack, doesn't he? He said, "I wish I had a dad like you." And then Jack Cosmo, is it? Is really good when he's like breaks down and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad," and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I think it all really works. That it's very good stuff. Right. So you were saying
the fight scenes, large, impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Really stupidly fun as well, with like the weapons and the spraying, the rolling down the butt thud butt, rolling down the gangplanks to skittle people over.
Talking about weapons,
silly moments.
My favourite weapon scene.
No,
it's at the start when they go, "Pick up your weapon," and he goes, "All right." Gets his checkbook out and goes, "How much?" That's a good solid gag.
You talked about the crocodile thing. I thought that was the bit that didn't really make a lot of sense. Obviously, the crocodile bit made a lot of sense, but just the fact that, it landed on him and they disappeared.
Oh, what it is, mate, is none of it's real.
No, I know, but it just where it's just well, where did he? And then the dead crocodile starts gurgling and burping, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, next you'll be telling me you didn't like the audible sharpness that was prevalent throughout this.
Oh, audible sharpness. Good callback. Yeah. I like it. I mean, it's a very small quibble, but,
I've got a few things I don't like, but one thing I do like. One thing I don't like. See how you feel about this crowing. Shite. Was that in the original Peter Pan stories?
I had no idea. No,
I don't remember crowing.
I quite like the because that's like the sign of his full turnaround. Because he says about you don't fly, you don't crow, and you're just like, what are you on about? Yeah. And then at the end, when the full turnaround, he starts to fly.
You mean it's literally crowing?
It's crowing. Okay, yeah. Oh, I quite like it. It's quite fun.
Yeah, never liked it. I'll accept bangarang as an exclamation.
Bangarang,
but crowing, no.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, I'm not having that. I like the slapstick that Williams gets to do throughout this film. he gets a bit when they have a bit of rough and tumble with Tinkerbell. And he's babbling, and then he's just like, "Oh, look, stars!" And he's like laid up at the thing. Quite funny. I really liked his pretending to be a pirate bit.
Yes,
when she's in his ear, going like, "Turn your left foot in, drool," and then just like fucking.
Oh, that's a huge bit comes down.
Comes out. How are you? Oh, it's quite funny. The pick up your weapon bit I've already mentioned. I've just realised I've written here sexy mermaid scene, bit of blue for the dads.
There we go. See, it's all there.
Yeah, which apparently is really hitting home. When he gets shot in the plums with the Lost Boys.
Oh yeah.
And you get the voice. Yeah. I've been shot. It's quite good.
Classic Williams.
Yeah, again, this is more like the checkbook gag, but. Right, anybody who doesn't think this is Pan, come to this side of the line.
And he walks.
And he just like, hi. Solid gag. Yeah. I tell you a cutting one, which isn't a gag, but it's a note I've got down. When he's trying to save his kids, and Maggie just like, "Come on, Daddy, Mommy can do it."
That's all my favourite lines. That's all my favourite quotes. It's so emasculating. It's brilliant. It's just amazing. The little girl, she's just like, "Come on, Daddy, Mommy could do it." Yeah. It's like, all right, Jesus.
Yeah. Another word of caution here is when we're having a flashback and Peter Pan goes back to the bed and he goes, "I'll give her a kiss." No, I mean a real kiss. Yeah, but not while she's sleeping, Peter. That's rape. If you wouldn't mind, give her a nudge first. Get her consent. But anyway,
cool, good stuff.
What do you think about the boo box?
The what?
The boo box.
The what?
The boo box.
What's the boo box?
You don't remember the boo box?
No.
The boo box. No, not the boo box.
No, I don't remember this.
You don't remember this at the beginning?
No.
When the pirate who doesn't believe.
Oh, right,
in your dear old captain.
Yeah. And he goes into the chest thing.
Yeah. Except it's not he, is it?
Is it not?
It's Glenn Close.
Is it?
Yeah.
I did not spot that.
Mm.
Well, there you go.
I was
or she moment.
Generally, I've done it again. Genuinely scared of that as a kid. Putting the old scorpions in the boo box.
Did your parents have one of those? Have a boo box for you?
Oh God, no.
See, loads to like in the plot. We've just basically listed the whole bloody film.
Yeah, I mean, I did like it. I thought you have that bit at the start. I think that's a good setup. It's a good way to intertwine the series, and it's a nice and well done setup for the father-kids thing that obviously goes all the way through the film. Mm-hmm. The bit when you get to Neverland, very, very fun with the pirate Hook's introduction.
The unveiling of Hook is great as well.
Amazing in that scene.
Yeah.
That's where we get the pirate thing, and they have that first little thing. That's great. You've got the middle section, let's call it the middle section, where he's basically with the Lost Boys and he's trying to remember. You could cut some fat out of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that works for the story. I think it's very touching when he does have his turnaround. And, he's really.
But you need that, otherwise it's too quick a turnaround.
Yeah. You do need some. Yeah, you do need some. And then, of course, we have the battle, which we get redemption arcs for the father bit, and then we get to put the villain that Hook is away. And how effective was it when you whip his wig off? Because we've seen that he wears a wig.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him without his wig, and it's a real
he's just
beaten. He's just an old man. It's a real shock.
It's like he shrinks, isn't it?
Yeah. And then he's just up there. He's pathetic, isn't he? And that just like, yeah.
Well, I quite like the ending in that there was a couple of opportunities where they take the high road and then Hook. He doesn't have it. He doesn't. It's
himself,
not. Yeah, he doesn't come round and see the error of his ways or anything like that, which would have been really easy to do.
Yeah,
he's just like, no, he's a bastard, and he'll cheat and he'll try and get one over you, however he can.
They dispatch him, and then of course we're back, and we've got a nice. Again, the ending scene is probably a few minutes too long, but it's very nice when he's back with the family and they've rediscovered that sort of lust for life. So it's a proper plot. I think it's a very good plot. And I think it works for kids and adults alike, really.
Yeah. Theo's question was, wait, was any of it real? I was like, what did you think? He was like, oh, I don't know, because when you see the Bob Hoskins character as like the bin man
Yeah.
guy, and oh, that's what prompted. Well, hold on, what? But then there's other bits. Like, what did you think? It's like, oh yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was real kind of thing.
Yeah. There'd have to be.
They don't leave it. It's not dead like closed. Like you could read it either way. I think.
Yeah, like they were kidnapped or misplaced. The kids.
Misplaced. Yes.
And then he's just had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And imagined all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could read it both ways.
Yeah,
for sure. Which I like.
And the thing is, as well, with these films, I think it's well done enough that if you are getting bogged down in trying to pick those things apart, you go, well, you've just been an idiot now.
Yeah.
I like the plot very much. It's a strong point for me, I think.
All right. Any changes, Carl? It's a section where we come up with our top 3 possible changes that we have. How many do you have, Carl?
Just the one.
And me too. Is it about being less long?
It is.
Yeah, cool. Should we move on?
Yeah. Simon, do you want a beer?
I'm actually all right, thank you. Oh. Wait, unless it's a special beer, which, I need to do for professionalism. Oh, yeah, I want a beer. Yeah, give it a beer. Give it a beer. Stone IPA, baby. I can't not even... I was like, I know, I've got a busy day tomorrow. You need to go easy.
I got these first because after last week's debacle...
Oh, yeah.
Was it last week?
Yeah, I think
after
so.
Last week's debacle, when I saw them in stock again, I was like, oh, there we go. Fuck tying them to the film. I'll just get it. But then I thought, oh, no, I can do Peter's.
So they still sell them, that's
Peter's
good.
Ale. So they still sell them, yeah. So.
That is good. Right, Carl, we're moving on to This Is Why You're Wrong. And when we say you're, we mean the critics.
Yeah. You
critics. Not all of you, but just 71% of you. Bastards. So we've heard what the critics had to say, Carl. Are we still convinced they're wrong? Do we need a closing statement?
Well, I've got to say, I'm surprised that more of them didn't focus on the length.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the amount of stuff that they have then tried to pick out as shit, I would say a lot of it are the film's strengths. I don't think, to be fair, to defend the critics a little bit, I don't think you make films like this anymore.
No.
Now, they wouldn't have known that at the time, obviously. They didn't know how good they had it.
The time-travelling critic.
Yeah, they didn't know how good they had it. But when I look at this now, I just think it's one of those films that you should be really glad exists because there aren't that many like that. It looks great. It's pretty joyous. It's funny. Yeah, good. Lighten up, peeps.
Yeah, I kind of echo everything you've just said there. Like, it's... You worry about these when you rewatch if you've not seen them for a while. And sometimes they don't age too well. But I think this one's aged fine.
I do, yeah.
But bar a couple of effects issues, like there's really not that much
really minor stuff as well.
Wrong with it. Yeah. I don't think it's a masterpiece, don't get me wrong. But for what it is, good, clean fun. And dirty fun as well.
You found plenty of that, didn't you? Hey?
Okay, let's get on to the data section. So we've already kind of touched on the critics' rating for the Rotten Tomatoes. The actual Metascore is 52, so it's a bit higher, but still a bit low.
Still a bit low.
Still a bit low. IMDb 6.8, more like it. Letterboxd 3.4 seems about all right to me. Carl, what was your rating?
Mine was 3.5. Yeah.
Mine was also 3.5. I think it's right in that zone. You could maybe go up a little bit, maybe, but it's about in that. It's in that ballpark. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
5 Oscar nominations for this. All technical. Art direction.
Yeah.
Beaten by Bugsy. Shrug. Bugsy.
Oh, that was the period mafia one with. Oh Christ! What's his name?
Don't know.
Yeah, him.
Okay. Costume design, also beaten by Bugsy.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. That was a decent-looking film from what I remember.
Visual effects, beaten by Terminator 2. I mean, come on.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Makeup, Terminator 2.
God, it was a better time, wasn't it?
Best song was beaten by Beauty and the Beast, which had 3 nominations for best out of the 5 for 3 for best song. And And the other one was Everything I Do It For You. From
Armageddon.
Prince of Thieves. No, Prince of Thieves.
Was it? What's the one from Armageddon?
The Aerosmith one.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't know.
It's
now.
not the same. That was Brian Adams. Fucking Brian Adams and Aerosmith there.
Yeah.
How do I connect those two?
But it's a saccharine sweet film song. Yeah, sure. So yeah, no wins unfortunately. But to be fair, I'd
be interested to know who was up for. I mean, best actors may be stretched, but I'd be interested to know who was up for best supporting that year.
Who would you put up for best supporting though? Hoffman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrific performance from Hoffman.
Right. Well, we'll have a look at that. I can't do it quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, 1991. What would that have been? Ooh, don't know. So yeah, rewatchability, Carl. Where's the rewatchability on this for you?
It's an easy yes.
It's an easy
yes.
Yeah, agreed. Best scene. What's your favourite scene?
Now, I could go for the one you said. This isn't a joke. I'm committing suicide.
Suicide.
Because that is a great. That is a really good scene. But my best scene is Hook's intro.
Yeah, the first bit.
Because they're chanting, and he's got like the hook, and he's like rocking his hook backwards and forwards to the thing. You don't see his face yet, and then it's very, very menacing. And then of course we get all the gags that filter through as well, like the kicking of the red carpet and all that sort of stuff. It's a brilliant scene. I love it.
So I've picked the imaginary food scene where he's done his whole Rocky makeover getting fit thing. He's there, he's starving.
There was a couple of minutes you could have cut out that getting fit scene.
Yeah, for sure. As they're digging into it, as you say, some of them are just like properly into it. You could tell they have eaten.
They're very good at it. Very good at it.
And then it's kind of his first come around, isn't it? Where he's starting to believe, he's starting to use his imagination again. So yeah, I think it's a really, really nice little scene that then leads to a food fight. That was easy for me to say as well. Ever had a food fight?
No.
No, me neither. Sounds awful.
Doesn't look like fun.
No. It's like, no thanks.
No, yeah.
Best quote, Carl. You got any you want to?
It's good to talk.
It's good to talk. Fucking hell, why could I not come up with that? Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm going to say it again, but I do love this is it. Don't try to stop me this time, Smee. Don't try to stop me this time, Smee. Don't you dare try to stop me this time, Smee. Try to stop me, Smee. Better get up off your ass. Get over here, Smee. It's brilliant. I love it. But no, my favourite is another Captain Hook one. And it's, I think your mother eats you every night in order to stupefy you to sleep. So she and Daddy can sit down for 3 measly minutes without you and your mindless, exhaustible, unstoppable, repetitive and nagging demands. He took my toy. She hit my bear. I want a party. I want a cookie.
His voice is so good.
Me. It's brilliant. I love
His
all
voice
that
is
stuff.
so good in that as well.
Yeah. Well, he's all the way through. He's just properly menacing like that with the whole. He'll just lean in and just be like, oh, good form.
Yes. Well, one of mine is when he just goes, "Hello, children.
Yeah.
Comfy, cozy." I was like, "Fucking hell!" It's just
They
so
love
menacing. I did quite like the "Remember, you're in England, land of good manners." Yeah, maybe not.
Compared to America, though.
Yeah, I suppose. "Come on, Daddy, Mummy could do it,"
Yes,
which is just the
cutting that.
most cutting, emasculating line ever. But the one I have used the most, and I don't even know how I've used this, but it's the "looky, looky, I got hooky." And I don't know why I use this.
Fucking Rufio again.
Yes, Rufio. But I've genuinely used that a lot of times, and I don't know why or how, but it's come up. I've just gone, "Look, looky, I've got hooky." How many times have I got a hook? I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know what are you even getting out with that?
I don't even know. But there we go. Favourite character?
Look. It should be Hook.
Yeah.
But I just have such a good time with Smee. I think he's so funny. There's Smee.
I'm going for Thudbutt.
Okay.
I love Thudbutt. His face, just little squishy
His
face.
little squishy round face.
So good. But yeah, I think I would probably go for Hook. Serious. If I was being serious, I would probably say
it's a terrific character.
he is great.
Yeah.
Hybrid, Carl. You got a hybrid for this one?
I haven't got a hybrid for this one. Have you got one for this one?
I have. Bear with me.
Oh, are you proud of it?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not sure.
Yeah?
I'm unsure. It's a bit wild.
Okay.
The Matrix
Yes.
crossed with Big.
Oh, Big. Ooh. All right, so the Matrix, different world. Sort of
Different world, going to be starting to believe, and then he gets his powers, and
big, okay.
Child, adult,
and learning to reconnect with what it is.
Yeah,
I think it's all there. Yeah,
I was quite pleased with it.
Yeah, I think it's in.
Yeah,
I think it's in.
Big.
Yeah, that's good.
It's in. Good stuff.
Yeah, so I've got a completely unconnected one.
Oh, you just come up with another film, okay?
Yeah, because we're just trying to.
We're building
if we can think of one of these, we'll think one relating to this. That's great, but we're just trying to build up a catalogue, and we'll try to get to a pyramid at some point. That'll be fun. But it does relate to a previous pod, though. So it's a shame I couldn't have done this the other week when we did American Made.
All right, okay.
But I think if you take American Made and Nice Guys.
Yeah. Right, American Made, yeah. Nice Guys.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we've got outlandish crime caper sort of getting in over his head. And then Nice Guys, it's a bit of a buddy
comedy
thing.
Yeah.
Not always the most easiest of relationships, an uneasy relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, a bit over the heads. War Dogs.
War Dogs. Wait, War Dog, is that...
Yeah, him and him. Jonah Hill.
Yeah, and...
Yeah. and your boy.
Oh, my God, name. Franco.
Whiplash.
No, Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller.
Have I seen I've seen War Dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd need to... I've not seen... I need to rewatch Nice Guys because I think you don't like it and I think I do like it.
I don't like it, no.
So I think we're going to watch that one. I'm not sure. Maybe.
All right, let's put a pin in that one.
Maybe. We'll revisit that one.
Yeah.
But that's good. We've got an addition and a maybe. So that's good stuff.
That's good stuff.
All right. Top 3 Robin Williams movies.
Oh, it's just more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
I know. Well, so just missed out. There was quite a lot that could have gone in. It's a top 5 would have been easier. But like Hook hasn't made it for me. It's good, just not quite there. Insomnia, I don't love it as a movie. It's not made it. Good Morning Vietnam is damn good. I hadn't seen that until very recently and is good. Doesn't quite make it into the top 3. Dead Poet Society, similar. Great performance, but I don't think as a movie it's quite up there for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Awakenings, similar. Quite like it, but no. Mrs. Doubtfire, I've not seen it in too long. Could get up there. I have fond memories of it, but Pierce Brosnan's in it, so I'm not sure.
Does do his choke acting.
Does he actually in it?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I need to rewatch it again then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he chokes on, he has an allergic reaction to cayenne pepper.
Oh,
so he's
fantastic. That's brilliant.
The thing is, right, this isn't a bit. He really does do that in every film.
Oh, I might have to actually watch Mamma Mia to see if he does it in that.
Oh, probably.
I've never seen it, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has a scrap with one of the other dads at some point, so he's probably doing it there.
Have you got any you want to call out?
Yeah, so my honourable mentions are Mrs. Doubtfire, Aladdin. Now, I know that's a voice performance and he's not the lead in that, but he is really funny.
Such a major part of it.
Yeah.
As well.
Dead Poets, as you said, it's a great performance. You know, you could argue it's one of his best ones, but it's not his best movie. Jumanji didn't quite make my cut either. So my number 3 is this film. It's Hook.
Hook's made it in, okay. Because my number 3 is Jumanji.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, again, a bit of a nostalgia hit, but I did rewatch it again fairly recently, and
it's good.
It is good fun.
Yeah, it's good.
Good fun.
See, the reason I go for this one over Jumanji, because I thought about this, maybe Mrs. Doubtfire gets closest to Hook in that it allows him to be both warm and silly.
Yeah.
And you don't get that in Jumanji so much.
No, it's a bit more
straight-laced, that film.
Yeah,
Obviously, the film itself is adventure.
Crazy, yeah.
But, so Hook makes it for me.
Number 2.
My number 2, you've mentioned Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah, it's damn good. As I say, a top 5 would have been a lot easier for me. I struggled to order them. I went for Aladdin just because that performance is just incredible.
Yeah.
I know it's only a voice performance, but God, if you've seen videos of him doing that that voice performance, like you could have done that live action pretty much without any special effects. And number 1, Carl.
Oh, we must have the same number 1 because
Good.
Yeah, we have
Will
mentioned
Hunting. Yeah.
We haven't mentioned
Yeah,
it.
it's great. It's a great movie.
What's yours?
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, mine's toys.
Fuck off.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's Good Will Hunting.
Patch
yeah.
Adams.
Yeah, I went to cinema to watch Patch Adams.
Bicentennial Man. You went to see Patch Adams?
Yeah,
At the cinema.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It was a bit of a letdown, to be honest, but I think I was too young for it. It
really?
might be one of those where you watch back and you go, oh, actually, it's quite a nice story, this, but...
It probably made me cry.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, Good Will Hunting's yours as well, right?
Yeah, Good Will Hunting's mine.
Yeah, cracking.
It's a good film, and he is terrific in it.
Yeah. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I know, yeah, I know.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, but I know.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, but I actually know.
No, okay, fine. There's no gaps though. Nothing that I hadn't watched that I was like, oh, I really need to see that because I think that might be in there. I think I've pretty much seen his best stuff, which is good. Carl, movie The Needle Classics Collection.
Yes.
Have we got any?
Yeah.
So just to recap, in case you missed last week, is that the first time
Last
we did
week
it?
was the first time, wasn't it?
We are inducting or putting forward for induction into the Movie Needle Classics Collection any movies that we feel are classics, and we have criteria.
Yes.
Just to recap, Carl, have you got them? Do you remember?
Yeah, we want longevity. We want long.
Yep.
It's got to be broad appeal with no niche stuff. Here, so girthy, definitely for sure. It's not so important how it looks.
No.
It's got to get the job done.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily need to be bold, so bold's not as important.
No.
But yeah, I feel like there was another one.
There was another one. I can't remember what it is either, though. But never mind.
Something about dicks.
Yeah, you get the idea.
Yeah.
So, do you have a submission, Carl?
Well, I think we've got to say, sadly, that Hook doesn't.
I don't think Hook makes it in. Is there anything Robin Williamsy from that list that we've just said that we think is worthy of a classic of that list? So, a Good Will Hunting, an Aladdin.
I think. I don't know.
No, I don't think there's anything that immediately jumps out.
They're all either a bit niche or a bit sort of off the type. I'm thinking about the kids' stuff. Not that we can't have a kids' one.
No.
I think it might be something that's had a bit more of a
Yep.
broader appeal than Aladdin.
There wasn't anything that quite jumped out from that list. So what have you got then? What's your submission for this week, Carl?
Mine's very, very basic.
Me too.
Okay, I have got a backup.
Okay.
So you do yours first.
The Godfather.
I'm glad I've got a backup.
No, we're early on here,
To
people.
a degree, yeah. To a degree, we're gonna be. There's gonna be no contentious picks early
Yeah,
on
this is low hanging fruit.
Yeah. So I had The Godfather as well. So obviously that makes it in, no question.
It meets all the criteria, right? Your mum knows about it.
Yeah.
There are lines from it that have penetrated
Oh yeah, big penetration.
the
on The Godfather.
zeitgeist. You've got the penetration, longevity, obviously.
Yeah, obviously girth because you said about your mum and girth.
Thank you. And so, what was your backup car? So, I think The Godfather. We're saying that makes it in. That's
No
inducted
question, that's
into the classics
no
collection.
question.
So that'll be added to the list on Letterboxd.
Penetrating the zeitgeist and longevity is a different thing because longevity is stamina, isn't it? So
Okay, yeah, it's
we
got
want
stand the
penetration,
test of
stamina,
time.
girthy. That's what we want.
There we go.
Yeah, mine was Jurassic Park.
I mean, there's no arguments there.
You can't
You
make
see
a
a
dinosaur
a
film.
glass of water quivering.
Oh, yeah.
Quivering? That's not the right word.
No, yeah. I think quivering is absolutely fine. Yeah. As would I be, because I would immediately think, shit, there's a T-Rex coming down the road. You can't make a dinosaur film now.
No.
Because you will inevitably
Yet they still are.
be compared to Jurassic Park, and you will inevitably fall short. Yeah, but isn't that the thing, though? The only people that are making dinosaur
same
films
world,
that go
isn't
to
it?
the cinema are the only ones that can pull on the same universe.
Yeah.
Because you're just never going to beat that. It's like trying to make a
Completed it, mate.
shark movie.
They completed it. Yeah, true.
So,
No, I think that is. It's just as automatic as it can get. Jurassic Park. It's fantastic.
yeah.
And yeah, 100% has penetrated. 100% got the longevity. I mean, it still looks fantastic.
It was the second film I ever saw at the cinema, Jurassic Park.
I mean, that's pretty good. What was your number one? Is it not quite as impressive?
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Brilliant.
Like a week apart or something. And I remember being gutted, right?
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to go to school and be like, Hey, I went to the cinema for the first time. Do you know what I saw? Jurassic Park. But no, unfortunately, it was when it blew the kid.
That's always like when you say, "Oh, what was your first album that you got?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, my third album was great."
Yeah, my third album was actually cool.
Yeah, my first album was probably.
First album was All Saints.
Yeah, I was going to say Britney Spears or something like that. It's like, oh shit.
I say All Saints. At least I had the sense to go with the sluts. Allegedly. I don't know.
Oh, very good. Carl, have you got anything else?
No.
Oh, good. So that
We'll
is
be off the air next week.
That's all we've got. So if we moved the needle for you, or even if we didn't, please do rate us, follow, subscribe, give us a 5-star review wherever you are listening. It really does actively listen to the algorithm and gets out there to a larger, politer audience. Our Bluesky, Instagram and Twitter is MTN Movie Pod. Our YouTube channel is @MovieTheNeedle, and you can also find our page on Facebook and the occasional TikTok if Carl ever posts anything at movie.the.needle.
Busy watching films, mate.
All details are, if only, it's not a long job, Carl, come on. All the details are in the show description. Please follow and comment wherever you are. So for me and Carl, it is goodbye.
Oh, I'm so annoyed I missed it. That's what he said. Goodbye.
Oh, I've got nothing. So let's just say I'm going to go find some sexy mermaids and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.